In this training, we're going to show you how we use campaign budgets with ad set budget allocations using minimums and maximums to overall affect the bottom line numbers for the campaign. The results of this process, we cut webinar registration costs by up to 50% in some campaigns. And we cut the application cost for a strategy session, not just a booking, but an actual booking and application by up to 50% in some audiences. So another thing to note is what I'm going to demonstrate here is not just the actual one-off strategy of how to use campaign budgets and ad set budget allocations, but I'm going to go through the entire thinking process from start to finish and how I optimized from the beginning and what series of steps that I took in order to arrive to where we are now. So what we started off with, this campaign is a horizontal scale campaign. We started this one in October, and essentially we were using proven ads to new audiences. Again, the horizontal scale. Since we knew these ads converted, we started the budgets pretty high at $1,100 per day for the campaign budget. Now, you don't need to start this high when it comes to using campaign budgets. However, you need to know that if you're using multiple ad sets within the campaign, you need to make sure you have enough budget to go ahead and actually, spend enough for every single audience that you have in that campaign. So going into the actual campaign level, what we did is we launched this and then we let the campaign marinate. So in the ad set level, what we went ahead and did is we let the campaign actually run for a couple days to let the ads marinate and make sure that we get enough data coming in from Facebook. The first steps that I did before I touch any ad set allocation, any ad set information, is I started cutting ads at the ad level. I started cutting ads that either spent KPI for webinar registrants and they didn't get a lead. And then I started cutting ads that spent enough for a KPI for a initiate a checkout, in this case, an application, and we didn't get an application. So if an ad spends, let's say, for example, the KPI here being 250 without discrepancy, but let's just say that the KPI, there's 100% no discrepancy. Let's say it's 250. If an ad has spent or an audience has spent 250 and we have no application, I'm going to cut it because 250 is enough for us to see it. Also at the ad level, if an ad is spent, our webinar costs of $10 and it still hasn't gotten an application, I might leave it on, but I might cut it around 15 because I know that 15 usually triggers an application. And we've seen that from the history throughout the account. So I'm able to do that optimization, be a little lenient on the lead cost because I know that up to $15, $17 at max, we get pretty good application costs. And that's just from history of using the account. And those fine tunings you'll come across once you associate yourself more with the account, the campaign, the ads, and how everything works. Every ad account is completely different, and every ad account you'll have to feel it out and see what the numbers are telling you from previous performance. Okay, so now as I did that, I started cutting, and then we were left with winners. So let me go ahead and set the ad view to active. So I was left with winners. Winners meaning they all converted into an application. Clearly, not every single one is in KPI. Okay, we're doing other tests in here. That's why these are in cut. You can see these are very high, but I'm doing another test with using new ads, what I'll show in another case study. However, what we're doing here, now I can analyze the data and see where is the majority of spend going and where is the majority of spend being lost. So for example, we had ad sets that were spending maybe $3 to $7 grand, and the app cost was way out of KPI. So we knew we had to cut those completely. However, we didn't want to cut the ones that were having volume. Volume means that we're getting a bulk of applications. In this case, the bottom line, what you want, if it's sales in e-commerce or if it's leads for an opt-in or lead generation campaign, doesn't matter. The bottom line, if it's getting volume, you don't want to cut it. Simply because if you cut the flow, then you're going to affect the bottom line of the overall business. And it's better to get a lead, a flow of leads or apps or sales coming through than zero. Obviously, you want to optimize so you don't spend and waste money, but you also don't want to cut the flow completely because in this particular case, this client needs to hit some goals. We can't just cut them cold, and they need to hit goals. They need to get apps regardless of what's going on. We can't cut that flow, okay? So if you're in that situation, again, look at the bulk of spend, the bulk of flow, optimize to see if we can go ahead and reduce the cost per application or the cost per sale. But I recommend don't cut flow completely. In this case, if you look at this one has not a lot of volume. I'd be more than happy to cut these. But again, I'm running some specific tests and these numbers are a little skewed at the ad set level. But going back to this training and reviewing the campaign budgets and how we're using ad sets minimums and maximums, what we went ahead and did is we wanted to see the largest volume with the lowest KPI. Okay. So what we went and did is we went to the actual ad sets level. So with this ad set, for ads that were getting low flow, so not a lot of applications, again, the bottom line, I'm not caring about leads here, I'm caring about sales or applications. If it had, some good days, some bad days, but overall we're doing way out of KPI, but we're getting some flow, I actually put a maximum. I told Facebook, I don't want to spend more than $100 a day on this. I don't want to waste my time or money on this ad set. So if you want to spend more money to somewhere else, please do so. And we did that to ad sets that were getting a lot of spend. So the bulk of the campaign optimization was going to that ad set, but it wasn't performing. So I gave it a maximum. Now for the ones that were doing really well, I gave it a minimum. I told Facebook, I at least want you to spend $125. And we calculated that based on the number of high performing ad sets and the total budget of the account. And I didn't want to spend more than 75 to 80% of my budget or allocate 75 to 80% of my budget to those specific assets. I wanted Facebook to still share the budget to the other ad sets, but I wanted the bulk going to what's working. So that was I would say the third phase, I suppose, for optimization. The first, again, ad level, second, ad set level. Third, we can then allocate budget. Okay. And then what happened is, let me go ahead and show you some of the data. So we did that around last week. So pulling up the data here, we did that last Tuesday, and these were the numbers for lead costs overall before we did the allocation for the budget. So we're at $12 a lead. The next day on Tuesday, when we actually execute this, we went ahead and dropped that to $7. Now again, lead costs within $10 is actually it's harder to get nowadays in Facebook, was what we're seeing, especially to cold traffic. But you can see that lead cost dramatically got cut. And then as time went on, we actually lowered it to $5. We cut lead costs almost more by half, like 50% there. The better thing, obviously, as lead costs, obviously when you make changes, there's a high, then there's a low, then it normalizes. The lead cost did end up normalizing. However, when we saw over the weekend data, some of our campaigns went to like $50, $11 an app. We started paying $50 total an app. And if we look at the last 7 days, we were paying $173. So doing these changes, not only, this is initial data, of course. We want this to be for the long run. So we want long-term wins here, not just short-term gains. But looking at this data up front this is essential to the optimization process to go ahead and, allocate budget to what's working and also constrain that budget to working ads. So that's why we did the ads first, then the ad sets, then we allocated budget. And we're continually doing this, and we're seeing really good costs overall in the ecosystem. So it's important to know how to optimize from the bottom up, as well as reading the data and seeing volume, seeing costs, seeing the volume of spend, amongst other things, which we'll have a separate training for, is that we did what we call an ad nebula, where we posted new ads, fresh ads, and we just put them in a page post engagement campaign, and then we integrated them across the entire account. I am very sure that had a really integral play on the effect of this performance, but the new ads, the new creative refresh, plus the optimization, plus the budget allocation, plus everything that we did specifically on this account to get the lower costs, I think they're all playing very closely together for an ecosystem where we're dropping cost per acquisition down in this campaign. So if you want to mimic that in your campaign, have any questions in doing that, please tag me in the group, and we'll talk soon.
All right, hey, if your business is doing $20,000 to $50,000 per month, and you're kind of like stuck in this little spot there. You're running most of the things by yourself. You're doing pretty well, but you don't really have like a team built, and you want to start scaling, and and you know that paid traffic's going to allow you to do that, but you're just kind of not sure how to get that whole thing working, and how do you manage all of this along with everything that's on your plate. If that's you, then I've got something for you right now. What we've done is we put a program together that I call the Directive, and it's geared just for people like you that are in your spot right now. It's meant to help you get over that hump and be able to put the processes and systems in place that not only extend across your paid advertising, but also into the back end of your business, so that you can scale up your business to the six-figure mark per month and beyond. That's exactly what this is designed for. And we've got a private group here that we've limited to 30 select entrepreneurs that are in that space right now, where you're doing at least $20,000 per month, and you want to start putting systems and people in place and start growing and scaling in a time leveraged manner using paid traffic and get to that six-figure per month mark. We're able to help our customers rapidly get to that mark inside of this program that we call the Directive. Now, like I said, it's limited to just 30 entrepreneurs that fit this criteria. And even though you may have these base criteria here, we still may not be a good fit. So if you're in that spot and you would like to work with me and my team in a one-to-one manner on your ads, your offers, and your funnels, along with the back end of your business, so that we can get you in that spot where we can take you from where you are now to six figures plus per month, then go ahead and click the link that we're going to put in the comments below this video, and it's going to take you out to a page where you can apply to talk with one of us on the team. You may talk to me, and you may end up talking to one of my other team members, who is one of our qualified trainers, also an agency owner, very good friend of mine. We will only work with the best people. You may talk to me or one of those trainers, and we'll talk about your business and see if this is a good fit for you or not. We'll answer all your questions, make it real simple. Like I said, only if you meet that criteria. You got to be doing at least $20,000 per month, and you want to start putting systems and stuff in place so that you can leverage paid traffic and get to six figures per month. All right? So if you meet that criteria and you want to talk further, see if the Directive is a good fit for you, fill out the form below. We'll get on the phone, talk with you, see if it's a good fit. If it is, we can talk about what it would look like to move forward so that we can help you more one-to-one, get to where you want to be. To the victor belong the spoils. This is Jason Hornung.